got here is the trout regulations for Wisconsin. Our opinions and a couple facts. When we're out there, we've been seeing a lot of people keeping around 5-inch, even under 5-inch trout for whatever reason. And the thing we noticed throughout the years is the bigger trout are disappearing. So we do not like the length limit of none. Alright, so this is where we were fishing after brook trout with the forage minnow spoon from Northland Fish and Tackle. I'm going to switch the satellite and get into it a little bit more. So this is where we were fishing. I'll mark where we were. We were right off that point, putting the hammer on brook trout, and they were feeding hard on minnows, and even one brought us up a shiner to use as bait. We would cut up the shiner and just put a little on at a time on our lures to have a better chance of catching these guys, because all they wanted was minnows after minnows. Alright, as you can see, it's snowing. We just gotta find the spot where we were last week, and there we go. And as you can see, it's coming down this morning on this lake in Wisconsin. It is snowing. Alright, first one, it looks like a brown trout. Alright, it's a little brook trout. That was wrong. Brook trout. Alright, let's put him back. Oh, he goes. He'll find his way. Alright, he's all wrapped around my thing here. Yeah. Another brook trout. You see that? That's a shiner. This trout, this small little trout, had that big thing in its mouth as well as my hook, my lure. So let's put him back. There he goes. And there's a shiner. So what I did here from the last time I was out, I was wondering, they are seeming like they're acting like northern. So why not try to use something just like a little minnow? Because that's what northern like. So if the trout are after minnows, let's get something like a minnow here. So we got the forage minnow from Northland Fish and Tackle. That's what we're using right there. This with waxies. You messed up my hooks. The hooks are all bended. I have to rebend them back. But yeah, we got a shiner up here now that we could use for something, I don't know. But there's a shiner. But that's what I'm using, and yeah, they're feeding like northern. Look at that. Look how big that shiner is. It's humongous. And it was in that trout's mouth. They're feeding, and they're feeding hard. Loving it. They're starting to bite now. Oh, another thing. They're acting like trout this time around as well. They're actually coming off the bottom and hitting whatever pretty good when they see it. They'll come up really high in the water column too to get whatever. So, alright, let's get back to fishing. So, because they're feeding on minnows and shiners and all kinds of other things like that, I think because this guy's dead, I'm going to use them as bait, cut them up into tiny little chunks and put them on the hooks instead of waxies. So I put a little bit of that shiner on there. I dropped it down immediately. And here's a nice little one. Alright, let's get them unhooked and get more shiner on there and drop her down again. Alright, here goes another brook trout. This is kind of getting a little crazy. That was instant. I hit the bottom and reel it up a little bit, and well, bam. So as you can see, I'm in my shack. We're using this once in a while. It helps. Like I said, they're not acting like total northern. They are actually coming off the bottom sometimes now. They're acting like they should. So when it comes to trout fishing, I usually have to find the fish, and when I do find the fish, they usually don't ever move much when you do find them. So I always put my shack up and just get right in it. So one thing I can say is these trout are just cruising along looking for whatever to eat because they're hungry, you know. So the black slaw normally doesn't do much because they would just come in, and if they see it they would hammer it right away. But sometimes they would kind of be on the bottom cruising, and then you could see them come up. But yeah, so that's what we're dealing with. Usually this is a good bite, so I ain't gonna complain. So let's get to it and keep catching them. Hopefully the bigger boys come in, because there are a lot of small ones we're dealing with. Alright, so this top one here, that is my lure. And sometimes in the water column we're about between 5 and 6 feet. Every once in a while there would be a green line that would just flash there for a while or sit there for a while. Sometimes that could mean it's a fish. So what I would do is usually come up to it and start bouncing, see if I get a reaction. And sometimes it might be a fish, sometimes they might not want it, or it's not a fish or something else, you know. So, alright, so I'm using 2 rods. Got this one and then this one sitting here. Every once in a while I'll just go over here and sit and jig it, you know. Anyway, one thing I want to talk about from last week when I was fishing here, I am now using a longer ice fishing rod. It just seems to be a lot more easier going for these trout when you have a longer rod. You can hook them really good, a lot more better than you would with like a really short one for some reason. With a short one you'll lose a lot more fish. Well, that's my opinion. That's what happens to me. So that's why I'm using longer rods. They seem to have that power to hook them good for some reason. So, alright, I don't know if you can really read that. Really hard to read that on there. But that is a forage minnow from Northland Fishing Tackle. And because we got that little shiner, we hooked it, put some shiner on there instead of waxies. And that's what we've been doing. And I'm going to show you how I'm jigging her when I get down there. Alright, you can see the fish finder there. And you can see my rod tip. That I'm jigging it pretty hard. I'm not jigging it like big. I want it really small, hard jigs to make that vibration in the water and get them fish really wondering what's going on, because that's what they're doing. They're just looking, they're cruising. You want to call them in. So I'm going kind of crazy, and then I'll stop for a little bit, see if anything wants to come in and bite it. That's what I do in this repeat. Jig it pretty hard, nice small little jigs, and then stop. That's all I'm doing. Alright, got one here. Come on. Small little brook trout. Alright. Well, that's a beautiful trout. Beautiful little brook trout. Look at that. Look at the colors on that fin. Wow. Alright, let's put them back. Here you go. Oh, man, crazy. Alright. A little piece of shiner, some waxies mixed together. There we go. Alright, we got something. This one's a little bit more of a fighter, so I'm a little bit more interested. What do we got? Oh. Another brook trout. A little bit nicer one. Let's go. This one is a 12.5 incher. Yeah, I didn't even get the other pull back in, and he bit right away too. So got another one right away. Another one right away. Another brook trout. Let's go. I dropped it right back down, and instantly right on the flasher there, I had a fish come flying right at it from off the bottom. Another trout. Alright, another beautiful brook trout. Look at them fins. Nice white, black, and red. Look at that. Alright, he wants to go back. Pull him back. There's 100% something going on down there. Another something here. Oh, what do we got? bigger brook trout. It's a bigger brook trout. Oh, there we go. Now that's a nicer brook trout. Let's go. Oh, yes. No, that's definitely a keeper right there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Lure's gone. He ate that sucker. Let's go. Alright, so this guy is 13 and a half. We upgraded by 1 inch. The other one we put back was a 12 and a half. So, nice brook trout. Another nice brook trout. Let's go. Really beautiful. The excitement is so here because these brook trout are my favorite kind of trout just because how colorful they are and how they fight. They're amazing to me. And there's one keeper. Let's go. Look there. Look at that. Flasher is going crazy again. Going crazy. This is fun. Getting fun in here. Alright, we got another fish. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, ooh. Let's go. Come on. This one's a fighter. He doesn't look that big, but he's a fighter. Let's go. Another brook trout. You see that? Something bit off his gill plate right there a little bit. Anyway, here he goes back. Down the hole. Alright. The snow is back. It is coming down here. So, that's it for us. We're heading out. The fish are definitely biting though. See y'all later. Alright, we are hooked into something. Tiny little brook trout.